Hello, everybody. Today we have an extra special guest. I am honored to be joined by the amazing, best-selling epic fantasy and fantasy romance author, Angela J. Ford. If you're not familiar, you must be living under a rock because Angela is killing it in the fantasy romance community. She's written and published over 30 books, and she and her husband own The Signed Bookshop, an online platform providing signed books and merch to happy readers. I read Angela's super popular fantasy romance novel, Music of the Night, and thought it was so beautiful, and I am in absolute awe of her platform. This woman knows how to build a platform and market her books, which is exactly what we're talking about today. I'm going to be asking Angela all about book marketing so we can learn from one of the best out there. Angela, thank you so much for joining us. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Well, I am Angela J. Ford. I am a fantasy romance author. And wow, I've been writing since I was 12 years old, but I love writing and I absolutely love marketing too. So being an indie author is kind of like putting two really fun things together. I get to write great books and then I get to market them. And so those are two of my favorite things. And yeah, I'm glad to be here. I love chatting and podcasting. And so this is perfect.
You are literally the first other author I've met who's like, I love writing and I love marketing, because I'm the same way. And everyone I meet, they're like, I hate the marketing side, but I'm like, but it's fun,
Yes.
and you're getting more people to buy your book. So I don't know, we're the same. I can relate.
It's great.
So,
it's a really fun challenge.
Yeah, I agree. And it's very interesting to see all the different trends and the analytics and to see how the audiences sway, but we'll get into that later. All right, so I'm going to dive into the questions. The first one is, you are absolutely killing the game on Instagram. How do you plan your content? Do you have a set schedule for posting? And what sort of posts do you find gain the most traction?
Okay, this is a great question because I really fly by the seat of my pants, but I fly by the seat of my pants very strategically. So I guess a couple years ago, I took Influencer School course by Boss Babe, which was very helpful and just really sitting down and looking at my products and services and thinking through how do I use social media to be social, but also to sell. And so it's always my intent when I'm posting to have the fun, engaging posts, but then also to have the posts that are straight up like, buy my books. And so it's the combination of both of those that are really fun. And I found that being salesy per se doesn't mean that I have to sit there and say, buy my books over and over again. It can be something as simple as posting a quote to hook people with and then being like, okay, well, I need to read this book right now. That did its job. So just really thinking through the content that I post and the things that resonate with me, because I love like beautiful photos of books, and beautiful photos of books can close the deal for me. And so sometimes all it takes is just a photo. So I definitely post those. And then reels are great. I mean, how can you not post a reel in this time? I try to think of things that are super simple and not too over the top. And so usually what I'm posting will be like a quote or like a page flip or maybe showing off a book box or something super easy like that. I don't spend a lot of time editing reels. Like, I'm a 5-minute reel person. Like, some of them go viral and some of them just don't. They just kind of flop. And I've noticed with a lot of my content that over time, as my account grows, like it's like the engagement gets worse and worse and worse. It's wild to think about. And so instead of getting discouraged, if I post a reel and it has like 500 views, I'm like, well, it's 500 views. That's great. I don't know how many people went and bought that book. There might have been a lot. So every little piece of content is worth it. So that's really my perspective of it. I also boost a lot of my posts, and that really helps like get my follower count up, really get the engagement. And that's really helpful. Some I will like take one and I'll boost it for like $5 a day for like 30 to 60 days and just let it run. And that will really drive the momentum there. And so usually if I have a post where I see it's getting a lot of engagement, a lot of comments, I'll choose those posts to boost, and that helps a ton. I usually just post like daily in the moment. Sometimes I will like literally just like take a photo and upload it. I could be more strategic with like planning ahead of time, batching content. I know all of the things to do, I just don't do them.
I don't plan my content either, so that was very comforting to hear. I'm like, okay, because I know people who they schedule it a month in advance, and I'm like, well, what if something comes up? What if an event comes up, and then you have to reschedule the whole thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the beautiful photos of books. That's
Yes.
me, but with artwork. Like, and that's one of the reasons why I love your posts, is because you have the most beautiful character artwork. So for me,
Thank
I'm like, I see the
you.
character artwork and I'm like, who are these people? I'm like, I need to
Yeah.
know.
If I see beautiful artwork, I'm like, oh, yes. If I see pretty photo, I'm like, oh, I want that book. I mean, it all is in like the styling and making it like look like this beautiful lifestyle photo. And I'm like, I need to read this book all of a sudden.
Exactly. Oh, I completely relate. So the next question, you quite literally have some of the most beautiful book covers out there. And whenever I see one of your covers, I instantly know it's an Angela J. Ford book. What is your process or strategy for choosing the right cover and cover artist for your genre?
Okay, that is huge. I felt like my covers have been like a little different from other covers, and like everyone's moving to like the symbolic covers and the fantasy romance genre. And I'm like, I'm gonna stick with people over here. But I love that you said that you can like tell what my covers are, because I was really encouraged one day. I was like on Instagram and a reader had tagged me and they were like, is this one of your covers? And it was a Black woman and a white man together. And I was like, oh, they know my brand, like they know it. And so I was so excited. So usually I will go through and look through Instagram. I'll find like cover artists that I'll look through their portfolio, I'll look through their Instagram. And if I'm just like drooling over like 90% of what they do, I'm like, okay, we have to work together. And then at that point, I reach out and we figure something out. So that's really fun. I usually book people like 1 to 2 years in advance, because popular designers and illustrators get really booked up like so fast. I found like a few good ones that I keep going back to like again and again and again, like Natalie Bernard. I don't know how many covers she's done for me. I just sent her like details for like another cover to work on. And so she is absolutely fantastic to work with. I usually have her booked at least a year in advance. One thing I found is that I do have a brand. So I usually always have the Black woman and the white male. And that really is something that's also pretty personal for me, because my husband is white too. And he's just like this like kind of big like woodsman kind of guy. And so that kind of personal thing just kind of like comes through on the covers too. So it's pretty fun. I'm not really super detailed in my briefs for what they have. Like I'll give them an idea of the story and like some concepts and some work of theirs that I love. And then I just tell them to go with it. I trust them. Do something amazing. And I found that when I give designers that kind of freedom, they usually produce something that's absolutely amazing, versus me trying to like micromanage them down to the bone, which I know I hate being micromanaged. And so I understand. I love it when I can go to someone and say, I trust that you know what you're doing. I've seen like your work in the past and you're going to do a great job for me. Here's my ideal, just run with it. And they love that. They love it.
When it comes to, especially if I'm having characters drawn, I will give details about like, the eye color, the hair color. And then after that, I'm like, okay, you know what they look like, do whatever you want, just, whatever pose you want, whatever clothes, just so as long as it's in the era. And because they're the pro, you know what I mean? I'm not the one drawing these characters, so.
That is exactly it. They have the authority there. And so I'm hiring them because I trust them. I trust their expertise and their professionalism and their authority. And so, yeah, that's definitely it. And I'm definitely more than willing to pay them for their time. Like I've worked with authors that are like, ooh, this person is so expensive. I'm like, okay, yes, if that is too expensive for your budget, then don't work with them. Like if you are going to be really micromanaging on the money part of things, then definitely don't work with someone that you feel is not worth your budget.
And that's the thing that I think a lot of authors also forget, is that, especially if you're going the independent route, like this is a business and you have to invest in it. I totally understand like everyone has their own budget, but sometimes it shows, sometimes it's like, yeah, we could tell that was, $15, so it's sort of like, and if that's the case, it's like, I would rather just not have the character art versus buy character art that looks you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're going to invest in something, like I think, like aim for quality. It's just something to consider. And your covers are high quality. They're good stuff.
Thank you.
So moving on, a lot of writers know you in part because you are big on selling direct, but you also have some books available on Amazon. How do you choose which products to sell direct versus selling on Amazon? And what's your strategy behind this?
Okay, so Amazon is really it is just such a massive platform. And I really made it big on Amazon. I want to say in 2018, one of my books hit the top 50 on Amazon, and it was a whole thing. Yeah, exactly. I was like making more money selling books that I like ever made. I was like, whoo, but
That's
I was
amazing.
pretty unhappy with it. I was actually kind of mad. I was like, people are just like downloading this because it's cheap and they don't get the vision, and they're leaving like, I got 1-star review bombed, and I was just not happy with it. And I was just so frustrated. And I was like, this is like what every author wants. Every other author wants to be up top up here, and they want to be selling this many books, and they want to be making all this money. And I don't know how to sustain this. I'm not loving it. And so I sat back and I thought about it, and I was like, I think I want to sell direct. And I had done a book release party for my debut novel back in 2015. That was back when I was writing epic fantasy. And I had all these people come in the local area over to like my little tiny apartment and just squeeze in there. And it was so much fun. Like, this is the first book I'd ever published. Everyone came out to support me. Everybody bought a copy. They sold me out. I made back all the money that I spent on like the party and like ordering the books. Like, it was fantastic. And I thought about that versus like thinking about what I was doing on Amazon. I was like, I liked selling, like signing all those books and selling out. And I was like, I think that's what I actually want to do. It was really funny because the first time I kind of like set everything up on my shop, and I was like gonna do like this whole huge thing over Christmas. And I had Tales of the Enchanted Wildwood, which I released in paperback. It was a collection of 6 short dark fairy tales. I was really excited about it. And I sold 7 books. I remember that I went to the post office and I like punched, like you can go to the kiosk and punch in the addresses. And I did that, and it was horrendous. And I was like, man, this is really depressing. This sucks. I sold 7 books, okay? 7 paperbacks over Christmas. That's the worst. And so I was like, well, of course we keep going. Don't just stop just because, it was a massive flop. And so after Christmas, I was releasing Music of the Night, and I put that up for pre-order. It was like 100 pre-orders, just like snapping my fingers. And I was like, this is a night and day difference. This is crazy. And that's really where it started. And my husband was like, oh, this is awesome. And it was right when COVID was hitting, and he was like, oh, we should do book boxes. He was like, I'm going to do some candles. He was like, we'll get a Cricut maker. We'll learn how to do mugs and like all this stuff. And so he was like fueling the ideals and getting involved, and he started doing all the packaging, and it just really evolved from there. And I think it was really helpful having like the support and the encouragement, and being able to kind of like grassroots a lot of things instead of having to buy so many products in bulk, because we could make our own candles and we could do a batch of 6. And if 6 book boxes sold, we're like, okay, let's make 6 candles and we're done. And then if, 6 more boxes sold and we had to make coffee mugs, like that was very easy too. And so I love it. It's a lot of fun. It's great to keep like all of the revenue and not share it with Amazon. And so I am slowly kind of like backing away from being in a Kindle Unlimited. Amazon is such a good platform because they have the reach. And it's great, especially for like the international people, because I can ship internationally, but the shipping fees are outrageous. Custom and duties is outrageous. I have absolutely no control over that. People are like, oh, can you do like free shipping internationally? I'm like, I love to, but I'd be screwed. So sorry, you have to pay for it. But I'm getting to the point where I'm going to be selling more of like even my ebooks directly. They'll be on Amazon too. And I will have some that I will always have that will be exclusive only to my shop. Not doing too many of those, but just trying to do like 1 a year. So that way people know that if I want to get all the good stuff, if I want the exclusive books and I want the book boxes and all the fun swag, come to my website, because that's where it's at. One of the things that's great about that is that I don't have to worry about, oh, the Amazon algorithm changed again. Oh, my ads stopped working on Amazon. Like all these things that happen that I have no control over. Like I have so much more control over my shop and my own platform. That's exactly what I was looking for.
I love that. Just give me 1 second. For the first time ever, she's like, I want to get down. Okay, so everyone say goodbye. Say goodbye to Butters. I had no idea you make your own candles and mugs. That is amazing, because I was wondering, I assumed that you were having someone else make it, and I was like, okay, well, like, how much do you have to upcharge to, you make them yourself? That is so smart. And does your husband make them?
Yes, he does. He makes the candles. When we do the coffee mugs, he handles all that. He does all of the packaging too. And so I will just prep books and lay them out and put the label on top of them, and he will just take care of it all. So it really is a family business now. It's not
you
just
guys are a power couple. Great. I love it. I'm obsessed with power couples. That's like what I like to write. So I'm like, yes, this is my favorite. That was actually going to be my next question. You know, the extra goodies, who are, you know, the steps and suppliers, but you are your own supplier. So like, what do you do in order to, like, how do you get the supplies, I guess, to make your own candles and whatnot? I saw you have like a character, I think, insert artwork and stuff. Do you do that as well? Like,
I don't do the artwork because I am just not talented when it comes to art. That is just
I meant like
me.
printing.
Save my life. Oh my gosh. I could like draw a stick figure and put some shading in and be like, will this work? But no, not really. I always hire out for like all those things, and then I'll take the artwork and I will print the art prints, the bookmarks, and then also the little character stickers, which are super cute and fun. So with the candles, I found a supplier called Moreci that I absolutely love. Like, I'm obsessed with all their stuff. They have these really like luxurious candle scents, and like they recommend that when you make the candles, you sell them for $50 to $100 per candle, which is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's great. They're definitely worth that. But I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna like sell a $50 to $100 candle. That's great. I'm happy for you. But we're gonna like, I do a more closer to like at cost. There's a little bit of profit there, but it's not gonna be like $25 profit. It's gonna be more like anywhere from $3 to $5. So, and I always bundle it with the book box because that is a much better profit versus like selling it by itself. Because when I do sell them by itself, I have to like start at like $15, and they're great. I mean, readers always tell me, they're like, oh my gosh, it smells amazing. I'm like, I know, like it is the best thing ever. So very luxurious candle scents. And then I've been playing around with the candle jars. I usually order just like a bunch of jars from one company, and then the wax too. And then from there, I get the different like candle labels, which they're just stickers. You can just order stickers or like candle labels. I always get foiling on mine now. I want to be more premium. And so I've been like making the move towards making everything more premium when it comes to book boxes. So it's not like you get like a little tin candle, which those are really fun and cute too, but it's going to be like a really nice candle. And I do the wood wicks, which, you know, they make that sound when they burn, and they're a little bit fancier. And so, yeah, it's just like this whole like elevation. But what I do love about getting all of that product in, like I have it sitting there, but then when someone orders a candle or they order a book box, it's like customized exactly for them. Like we make the candles in very small batches, and then like I put the stickers on them, and each candle has its own like scent that goes with it. And so it's really fun. And then same thing with the mugs. Like I just buy the blank mugs. I've used discount mugs. There are others that I've used before too, but yeah, I just order like 36 mugs. And then like when someone like orders a book box that has a mug with it, then at that point, then it's customized to fit that book box. It's just kind of like making sure you have things on hand and making sure they're interchangeable between different book boxes so that you don't end up spending like thousands of dollars for one book box that like ends up actually flopping.
That's awesome. See, everyone I know who in the past have done book boxes, they outsource these things, and then the book boxes eventually die out. Like they're like, we can't, it's not sustainable. I knew one person who had a book box company for several years, and they were like, we just broke even the entire time, you know, because they kept outsourcing things. So the fact that you're doing everything in-house is just genius, and no wonder you're flourishing and doing so well. I mean, obviously also your books are amazing and everything you're doing is fantastic, but it's just layers of smart thinking. I love it.
Yes. And I will say one thing that I haven't done is the branded book boxes. I would love to brand my book boxes. I just haven't because the cost is so high. And like I looked at that and I was like, oh wow, like I don't understand how these book box companies are even charging what they are. I mean, they can't be making much money because whoa, this is so much. I mean, I was looking at like the small amount, so it wasn't like I was going to buy like 2,000 boxes in one go, but still it was a lot. And then the other thing is the fact that while I do have people that buy like just one book or just one book box, a lot of them buy more than one. And so then like my box size changes all the time. And so I actually have like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 different box sizes in the house just to keep up with that, because I know that yes, people buy one book, but for the most part, they don't when they come into my shop. They're buying like 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 books. So
they're stocking up all the good stuff.
Get them all.
We love to see it. Yes, exactly. It's like, that's what we want. Buy all the books, just wipe out the stock. So let's talk ads. You talked a little bit about how you will boost some of your Instagram posts. Matt, do you dabble in pay-for-play ads? And if so, what have you found successful and what's been a bust? Like I said, we talked a little bit about boosting Instagram posts. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that or if you've done ads elsewhere.
Yeah. So I definitely do ads. Like I like running ads and not running ads is a night and day difference for me. If I turn my ads off, everything crashes and falls apart. And it is so wild to see. I'm like, okay, ads really do so much. So my strategy when it comes to ads is to turn an ad on. I usually run ads to a very broad audience. And so when I go into Facebook to select my audience, I usually choose women and I give them an age range between 25 to 55. And they are in the United States. That's it for targeting. And then I just turn on those ads and I let them run. I try not to touch them for at least 30 days. And they're all like sales ads. So I'm only running ads to my shop for people to make that purchase. What typically tends to happen is that people will see the ad, they'll see it on Instagram, they'll see it on Facebook, just kind of wherever. And then they'll decide where they want to make the purchase. So I definitely have a lot of people come directly to my website to make a purchase, but then I also see my Amazon sales go up. And so because of that awareness, people are seeing the books, then they know, let me go on Amazon and see if it's available. It was really funny. Last year, I had an exclusive that was only available in my shop over the holiday season. And I remember going to Amazon and I was typing in my name to like look for my books. And like the first thing that came up was the exclusive book that was only available in my shop, because people had gone to Amazon to look for it. And they'd done that so much that like Amazon was like, this is probably what you're searching for. You probably are looking for this book. And I'm like, it's great to run ads. Definitely love doing that because of the visibility. And it really is like a huge game changer. And I would say that for every like dollar I put in, I make like probably like 100. And so it's great return on investment. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Definitely.
Wow. That's awesome.
I mean, it's also because I'm not selling an ebook that is $4.99 or $5.99. Like when I do sell ebooks on my shop, I do have like the shorter ones will be like $3.99. But for the most part, like if it's a novel, it's going to be $9.99. Like that's what it starts at. It's actually possible to run ads and make money if like your ebook starts at $10. And then it goes up from there. Usually a deluxe book box will be like $75 to $85. There's a really nice profit there. And there's enough profit to like continue to pour into ads and not worry about like, oh my gosh, like I'm really just like barely breaking even on this like little tiny book that's $5 because $5 is nothing.
It is, yeah. I completely agree. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I know a lot of people who run ads and they are not getting the return that you are. So like you really found your niche, you know, which is fantastic. Talking more about marketing, obviously, what's a key marketing tactic that a lot of writers overlook or don't quite nail, in your opinion?
I would say email marketing. Email marketing is huge. And I would say that authors definitely don't overlook it. Like they know the importance of it, but I don't think they are nailing it. Like a lot of times I'll subscribe to emails because I want to see what other people are doing and how they're handling things. And it's just, Yes. A lot of times it's just so much, like there's so much going on. There's like book funnel promos, like back in the day. I mean, probably even still now, they were like really popular. And they're like certain authors, they always do like a million book funnel promos and they have all of those graphics in their emails. And I'm just like, I don't know where to click. Like each promo has like 100 books and you're asking a lot from me. I think it's really good to kind of like stay focused, keep things like short to the point and like focused on emails. And that doesn't mean that you can't be like friendly and chatty and like tell stories and all that stuff. But I think email's a place where authors really kind of like miss the mark because they don't know how to do it. They get overwhelmed with it. And it is a skill. Like it's like marketing. Like you have to learn what works and what kind of audience you're building. I thought I would like take a break from like learning how to like build my email list, and I hired a company to do it for me through like book funnel promos. And I built like this massive list of like 10,000 people that was like awful because they just wanted free books. And that is the number one tactic that is taught when people talk about you need to build your email list. So get your freebie together and give that out to everybody. Free books definitely work. Absolutely. Everybody's going to come running for a free book. But there is a better way to build an email list that's not necessarily based off of like a freebie. Not necessarily like knocking freebies. I think they're really important, but just people need to work a little bit harder than just giving an email address away for a free book. So unfortunately, it is something that authors have really taught readers to expect. Like expect the freebie, get all this stuff for free and don't have to work for it, because as authors, the thing we struggle with is visibility. And so the best way to get it is just like give it all away and get as many people on board as possible. And that often can be like a detriment long term. Great short term, but in the long term, I think it does more harm than good.
Yeah, and I think a lot of authors, they'll give the freebie and then it's like, now what? I have your email address and that's it. And they don't really put a lot of effort into making their newsletters worth reading, you know? And so it's like, you can give a freebie, but you want to keep the person engaged after that. Like it's not just, you know, here's your book, now just stay and be my fan. It doesn't work that way, you know? Like you have to actually put effort into the newsletter. I follow a lot of newsletters and I did it at first to kind of learn, you know, what's working. And then a lot of newsletters I just ended up unfollowing because I'm like, this is boring. Like no one's doing anything interesting, you know? So
and there are definitely different ways to be awesome with it. Like my favorite thing is like offering something free with purchase. Like right now in my shop, I'm doing like a buy one, get one free promo on ebooks, which is really fun and easy. Like they're getting a free ebook. Absolutely. They just have to buy one first.
Nice.
And so it's kind of like just thinking outside the box a little bit, making them work a little bit harder because, you know, buy one, get one free. At that point, the ebook is like $5.
And buy one, get one free. That's a sales tactic that has been around for eons. But if you are, you know, selling on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or things like that, you can't do that. Like how would you even make that work, you know? So it's another benefit of selling direct. Anywho, thank you so much for your time. This has been awesome. I've learned so much. I'm sure everyone who's watching has learned a ton. Please tell us about any exciting projects you have going on and where everyone can find and follow you.
Yes. So of course, I talked a lot about my author platform. So AngelaJFord.com. That is where I'm at. I'm also on Instagram, Angela J. Ford Books. That's it. So those are the only two places you can find me.
Amazing.
Of course, you can find my books, signed books on my website and then on Amazon. I'm really excited because this summer I'm releasing a new series. It's called Trade Brides. And book one, Mage Bride, will be out June 11th. So that is the fun stuff that is coming up.
That is so exciting. And again, to everyone watching, I read Music of the Night. Amazing, beautiful. What I love about Angela's work is that, yes, it's fantasy romance. Fantasy romance is really on trend right now. But just like with your covers, you can tell this is an Angela J. Ford book. I would describe your writing as ethereal. Like there's just like this elegant quality to it. So anyway, guys, definitely check her out. And like I said, thank you so much for being here. This was fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. This was great.
Of course. Don't forget to check out my dark fantasy romance novels, The Savior's Champion and The Savior's Sister. They're available at all major retailers, and you want to get on the hype soon because The Savior's Army is in the works. If you need help crafting your novel from plan to print, check out my writing craft book, Shut Up and Write the Book. It's available at all major retailers. I have it linked below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays and host live streams on Mondays. And if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. Bye!
Hey there, this is Lisa Corton-Leone, narrator for Shut Up and Write the Book by Jenna Moreci. Be sure to subscribe to Jenna's channel and ring the bell. That way you're alerted as soon as she posts a new video. Trust me, you don't want to miss this stuff.